me again. Sorry about the delay. Alright, I'm back in London, Ontario. I'm at the fair. Sometimes I like to go check out the psychics at the fair. And I went to go check them out in London, Ontario. We have a fair every year around September. Anyway, I went to it. And I was trying to get a reading done, and I met a person there, and they're like, you already have abilities and gifts and stuff like that. It would be very difficult for another psychic to read you. I kind of already knew this, but what I was after is to find out how I could enter this system so that I could make some wealth, because at this time I'm, running down on my funds and see an opportunity here to perhaps make a little bit of funds, some money. So I asked, I said, perhaps if you need another extra psychic or something like that, I can join you guys and see how this works. And first of all, they made me do a couple readings while I was there, and I guess I was successful because they wanted me to go with them. Now, how this works with these people is they go from town to town, and they like to go to towns over 50,000 people. Now, with 50,000 people, they'd stay 2 days, usually the weekend. They would advertise it for a week. Back then, you would use newspapers, flyers, things like that to advertise. The global market with streaming is not here yet. You know what I mean? Well, you don't know what I mean, but that's what was happening at the time. That's the way they advertised, and so before they went there, they would send flyers and newspaper articles and stuff like that, and then they'd do their show on the weekend. If a town had over 100,000 people, we'd stay 3 days. And we did all southwestern Ontario, from town to town. We were on a bus. There was about, I think, 20 of us. The bus had a washroom. It was okay. But once we got to the towns, usually we slept in a hotel for at least 1 or 2 nights. The rest of the time we slept on the bus, which was okay for the time being. But I started getting sick around the 7th month of these travels. And I was making really good wealth. I don't know what I'm allowed to say or how much I made, but it was nice. And it was mostly tips, because getting paid for what we were getting paid was a salary, and it was every month, which I thought was odd because most people pay every 2 weeks, but theirs was every month. But we were living off our tips, and that's where we made really good money. The better you were, the more tip you got. And you would travel all these towns, and each town would talk to each town, saying which ones were the good ones and which ones were not the good ones. And I guess I was one of the good ones. And usually you'll have someone, when you're there, collect the money, and then they do the reading, and then they'll tip you in the reading as well. That's what I was finding out. Now, something was making me really, really sick. It was either the fast food that we were eating, or it was taking the tips. So I don't know which one it was, but after 7 months I couldn't handle it no more, and I had to quit. And then I found out later on that it was a little bit of the food and taking the tips. I am not allowed to take money straight up from a person for my gift. They have to sort of give it like a donation. Now, before, a lot of people were giving me food, and I gained weight like crazy, and I asked not to give me food. And that's another thing. I told them that perhaps putting it in a white envelope, and then I have to wait 3 days before receiving the wealth. So you would put the money in a white envelope, you'd say to me, and then you'd hand it to me, and I would leave it where I put it for 3 days, and then open it later. Now the problem with the 3 days is it's to clean it. It's to sanctify it. Now you can wait 7 days. That's another good number. 30 days is another good number. 40 days is another good number. But at least 3 days you cannot touch that wealth or use it for whatever purposes you need to use it for. Anyway, during this period, I made enough to open up my restaurant too. So I was going to put this money away to open up a restaurant for myself. That was my lifelong goal and my dream and everything. And it does happen. But I'm not ready exactly yet. I still have things I have to do. Like for God, and the angels are telling me, and this and that. I'm not done yet for that. Anyway, that restaurant thing will be another story for another day. I hope I didn't go over 5 minutes. Now, the whole premise to this is that I learned that I cannot take straight wealth from an individual for my gifts. It has to be stationary, not moved, not given to me at the time of the reading. It can be given to me 3 days after. That's how that works. So no bad things happen to me. No bad things happen to the person I'm doing the reading for. That's what I figured out in this period of time, and saved about $250,000. That's it.